Hello and welcome to News Now. President Muhammadu Buhari has ordered the investigation of Azubike Jirika, former Chief of Army Staff, and Kenneth Minima, his successor. A statement signed by John Ode, head of the Committee on the Audit of Procurement of Arms between 2007 and 2015, said Buhari gave the directive after receiving the third interim report of the committee. 18 serving and retired military personnel, 12 serving and retired public officials, and 24 chief executive officers of companies were recommended for investigation. Now, there have been widespread reports of embezzlement of funds meant for arms procurement in the Nigerian military. Meanwhile, the Nigerian government has insisted that the arms reports were not doctored. Many Nigerians had accused the government of being selective and refusing to indict key members of the current administration, believed to have played questionable roles in military procurement since 2007. However, in a statement issued in Abuja on Friday, the Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, explained that what had been released so far was a report of the audit covering the period 2011 to 2015, adding that the committee would commence the audit of procurement from 2007 to 2010 as soon as the necessary documents are available. The Nigerian Army says its troops have ambushed a gang of suspected Boko Haram terrorists in the northern part of Borno State in the northeast of the country. The operation was carried out by members of the 118th Task Force Battalion of the 7th Brigade on Thursday. The troops also recovered a major high-caliber munitions from the terrorists. Army spokesperson Colonel Sani Usman said most of the terrorists who were caught off guard by the ambush attack abandoned their vehicles and escaped with bullet wounds. The Judicial Commission of Inquiry into the December 12, 2015 clash between soldiers and members of the Islamic Movement of Nigeria in Zaria, Kaduna State has submitted its final report to the State Governor Nasir El-Rufai. The chairman of the commission, Justice Mohammed Garba, submitted the report to the governor in Kaduna. Garba said the panel received over 3,000 memoranda from different groups and individuals from both within and outside the state. He, however, told the governor that the Shiites failed to appear before the commission to give their own account of the incident. Meanwhile, members of the Shiite sect have blocked the Zaria-Kaduna Expressway to protest against the prolonged detention of their leader, Ibrahim El-Zakzaki. Zakzaki has been in detention since December 2015. He was arrested by the Nigerian Army after troops clashed with Shia members, killing over 300 of them. The victims were secretly buried in a mass grave in Kaduna, a state official had said. The army denies the attack. It, however, admits using force, saying the Shiites had blocked the road in an attempt to assassinate Army Chief Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai. The Nigerian police on Friday says its intelligence response team has smashed several notorious kidnap gangs in Kogi State. In a statement issued by police spokesman Don Awuna, the police said it also rescued 4 persons kidnapped from different locations in the state. 2 policemen, however, sustained gunshot injuries during the operation. Now, a faction of the Nigerian Labour Congress led by Joe Ajero have clashed with hoodlums at the venue of the annual general meeting of the Nigeria Employers Consultative Association, NECA, in Lagos. Members of the NLC faction were picketing NECA when the hoodlums suddenly emerged at the scene and engaged the NLC members in a free-for-all. Tunji Olanikbekun has more on that story.
This is the venue where the 59th annual general meeting of NECA is to take place. All arrangements have been concluded for the event, with guests arriving in Lagos from all parts of the country. But outside the venue, a drama is unfolding.
If we are not ready to confront these people, they will continue to give us shit. And as long as they carry their shit, you have no reason to be complaining.
A faction of the Nigerian Labour Congress NLC has come to picket NECA, preventing staff and invited guests from gaining access to the hall. Roads leading to the venue are blocked with a tanker and long buses. They are protesting against the management of NECA for describing their faction as illegal and calling for their arrest. And then suddenly, this happens. Hoodlums hoodlums armed with sticks, iron rods, and other dangerous weapons attacking the protesters. It is not known where the hoodlums come from or who their sponsor is, but suspicion falls on the management of NECA. The Director General of the body, however, denies this.
I got to hear that some counter forces came. I cannot deny my knowledge of that. Where they came from, whether it's from Mars or from Venus, I really don't know. I was in the picture of the entire dynamics, their presence and the presence of the counter force. Where the counter force came from, I really don't know. Our concern is that impunity is beginning to take full hold of our society. And that impunity has crept into the rank of some trade unionists. We have rules, we have regulations, we have laws that govern the practice of industrial relations in Nigeria. And we wonder why we should allow this kind of situation to continue to fester.
I was taken aback with what I met when I got here. I had to park quite a distance from here and then trek down to know exactly what was going on. And only to discover that Ajay Rose group had taken the laws into their hands. And I don't know, I've never seen picketing being done this way. This is not the way picketing is done.
NECA has now rescheduled the annual general meeting for a later date, but the protesters say anytime the meeting is called, they will still be there to picket the organization. Tunjola Nipekun, TV360, Lagos.
Meanwhile, the Jura faction of the NLC have been reacting to the incident. At a press briefing held this evening at the Secretariat in Lagos, the group says it is beyond doubt that NECA sponsored the hoodlums who attacked the NLC members at the venue of the annual general meeting. Now, the Association of Nigerian Electricity Distributors has rejected the judgment of a Lagos Federal High Court, which annulled a 45% electricity tariff hike, saying it would launch an appeal against the judgment. The Federal High Court had on Wednesday annulled the increment in electricity tariff recently announced by the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission. Justice Mohammed Idris, who delivered judgment in a suit filed by a Lagos-based lawyer, Toluwani Adebiyi, challenging the increment, described the NERC's action as irrational, irregular, and illegal. But speaking at a press briefing in Abuja, Anthony Aka, the acting chairman of the NERC, said the commission has now filed an appeal against the judgment.
NERC remains resolute in ensuring that the market survives and at the same time in ensuring that all electricity customers get value for money. We are mindful of the fact that we have not reached to the ideal stage that we intend to reach. We are fully aware of the fact there are still issues of wrongful billing. We are aware of the fact there are issues of wide metering gap. There are issues of inadequate power. But we want to put it on record, just like in line with the policy thrust of the Honorable Minister of Power or the federal government of incremental, steady and uninterrupted power, we've been able to bring in more power, which is predicated on this multi-year tariff order 2015 tariff that this judgment affects. In Lagos, we brought in the Paras group that will soon bring in power into the country. We've signed in over 1,000 megawatts of renewable source of power predicated on this. There are various contract improvement and service improvement that distribution companies have signed predicated on the multi-year tariff order 2015. The Commission, because we have provided the condition precedent for us to effectively sanction the discos, have sanctioned the discos of recent for various violations of our regulations. So for us to be able to build the sector that this country will be proud of, that will trigger the much needed economic development for this country, it's imperative that we have electricity rightly priced. We should be mindful of the fact that electricity is a product. It's a manufactured product, and the government is no longer involved directly in the business of investing in electricity, which is in line with the best practice in most countries of the world. This is now private sector driven. We are aware of the fact that electricity is a necessity, just like shelter is a necessity. But you all are aware that the cost of building has all gone extremely very, very high. Most of the materials we use to build houses are imported, even the local ones, and they are all being affected by macroeconomic changes. We have not heard anybody say cost of building are so high, is a necessity, and it should be highly underpriced. Then I wonder who will import those items that you buy. So it's important that we have to accept the reality. We need to give a conducive environment, and we need to ensure that Nigerians get value for money. The multi-year tariff order of 2015 was well analyzed in a manner that only prudent cost and only costs that are absolutely necessary were allowed.
The House of Representatives is set to investigate the disbursement of bailout funds to state governments in the country. The resolution followed a motion raised by Sunday Karimi on allegations that some states diverted the loans to other purposes other than paying workers' salary. An ad hoc committee has been set up to look into the terms and conditions of the disbursement and utilization of the bailout funds. The committee is also expected to ascertain the necessity for further disbursement as is being considered by the executive. The committee is to report back in 4 weeks. A federal high court sitting in Abuja has rejected the bail application filed by the former deputy governor of Osun State, Senator Iyiola Omishore. In his ruling, Justice Olukayode Adeniyi held that the bail application was incompetent because it was filed during the period when an order obtained by the EFCC from another judge of the High Court of the Federal Capital Territory, on July 8 was still valid. He said Omishore had to wait 14 days for the expiration of the remand order before he files another bail application. Nigeria's main opposition party, the People's Democratic Party (PDP), has scheduled August the 17th for a fresh convention in Port Harcourt, the Rivers State capital in South Nigeria. This was disclosed at the end of a stakeholders meeting held in Abuja. The chairmanship position, which is causing controversy, has been zoned to the south, while the arrangement of zoning the 2019 presidential ticket to the north is still in place. Speaking to journalists at the end of the meeting, Ahmed McCarthy, chairman of the caretaker committee, said full details of the fresh zoning arrangement would soon be made public. Well, we'll take a short break here, and News Now will be right back.
Mr. Job! Mr. Job! What is it now?
What is it now?
Please turn down the volume of your music. It's too loud.
And how is that your business?
It is disturbing me. I can't sleep.
And the same way you are disturbing my right to good music and where I enjoy it. What's wrong with you? Is there another person complaining?
Maybe we thought that you have lost your mind. Are you having a party?
I'm just respecting you, sir. You remember I paid my husband too.
You will not understand why we are complaining because you do not care about other people except yourself. Look, the transformation we need in this country begins in this compound.
Yes, now.
From you, and I. This your selfishness is an offshoot of corruption. And corruption
not in my country.
Oh, you know, go to your bank. Go.
Corruption not in my country.
Welcome back. Now, retail banking is the future of banking in Nigeria, and any bank that fails to embrace it will eventually turn out a big loser. Now, that's the verdict of experts at a forum on retail banking held in Lagos. X-raying developments in the sector, the experts called on banks to expand their retail banking infrastructure so as to serve more customers and help in bringing about financial inclusion.
So the new face of banking to me represents retail because of the massive pool of people that is available to be able to tap from. The traditional sources of income of banks is diminishing, contracting, or in worst cases, are totally wiped out. So they must get innovative in how to engage their market.
That is the next thing. Are the demographics in Nigeria? I'll give you an example. In another 15 years, Lagos, the capital, the financial capital of Nigeria, will be about 40 million people. These people would need various retail banking products to be able to imagine economy. Oil or no oil in Nigeria, there is a fundamental that underscore that this is a resilient economy. And under the bed of that particular economy is retail and SME banking. So Nigerian banks definitely, for subsistent and continuous long-term growth plan and trajectory, they definitely have to deploy retail banking growth. Otherwise, they will miss out of the opportunity.
When we think about banking, we also have to think about USSD. It's universal. So people have USSD channels. So internet banking is not the only channel that's digital, but USSD as well. But that is assuming you already have a bank account. The challenge is, how do I get people that don't have bank accounts or have not digitized their cash to digitize it? And that's where you get mobile money and a lot of agent banking that banks are embarking on. Is let's not just look at the people that have bank accounts, let's look at the people that do transactions that have cash, and can they create wallets or other types of accounts that allow you to gain access to transactions.
Huge amount of change going on in the banking industry, regulation, digital, the drive to technology, customers actually now far more demanding than they've ever been, putting major pressures on retail banks. What this means is the banks have really got to start rethinking some of the issues around their infrastructure, both hard and soft, and how they're going to reappraise their strategy in the weeks and months ahead. Technology makes a major impact on our daily lives, and it's not just about the world of banking. So banks need to understand that, because the need for physical branches is different today than it has been in the past. When you look at technology and how it influences our day-to-day activity, particularly with the mobile phone, it's influencing the way that we deal with our banks as well. I think alongside that, one of the other major areas of focus for the banks has got to be about the people. Not only the people that run the banks, but also the people that are the front line of the banks, those that are the brand of a bank. Have you got the right people? Have you got the right talent? Do you need to recruit different talent in a different world? If you do that, then you'll start to create a world which customers find attractive.
Nigeria's naira tumbled 4.3% to another record low against the dollar on Friday as the central bank sold dollars to try and boost liquidity on the interbank market. The naira hit 295.25 naira in thin trade a month after the central bank caved into months of pressure to remove its currency peg and effectively devalue the unit in response to falling prices for oil. It recovered actually to close at 290 naira. That's around 2.7% weaker on the day. Traders say a lack of dollars has curbed activity since the peg was removed, leaving the central bank as the main supplier of hard currency. Now, Nigeria sold 120 billion naira worth of local currency denominated bonds with mixed yields compared with the returns from previous issues last month. Now, results released by the Debt Management Office showed on Friday. The Debt Office sold 55 billion naira of 2036 paper at 14.98%, the same yield as on similar debt issued at the last auction on June the 25th. It sold 35 billion naira worth of 2026 debt at 14.90%. That's 50 basis points higher than the yield at the previous auction. The Debt Office also sold 30 billion naira at par in the 2021 paper at 14.50%. crude futures dipped below $47 a barrel on Friday. Now, concerns that a persistent global glut of crude oil and refined products will impede any price recovery held a fall in oil prices. Brent crude futures were down 52 cents at $46.82 a barrel, while U.S. crude was down 50 cents at $45.18 a barrel. At least 84 people have been killed after a gunman at the wheel of a heavy truck plowed into crowds celebrating Bastille Day in the French city of Nice. The attacker, identified by a police source as a 31-year-old Tunisian-born Frenchman, also opened fire before officers shot him dead. The man was not on the watch list of French intelligence services, but authorities say he is known to the police in connection with common crimes such as theft and violence. French President François Hollande has called the incident a terrorist act. Uganda's army has begun evacuating citizens from inside neighboring South Sudan, where fighting between forces loyal to the president and his rival has plunged the nation in its worst crisis since the end of a 2-year civil war. Uganda said its troops would stay in a town outside Juba and focus on evacuations. Now, Juba has been calm since Monday evening when Kar and Riek Machar, the former rebel leader and now vice president, ordered their forces to cease hostilities. But residents, I should say, remain tense, and many foreigners have been leaving the country. To sports now, Leicester City manager Claudio Ranieri is thrilled by the prospect of working with Nigerian international forward Ahmed Musa. Ranieri, speaking at the Foxes pre-season training base in Austria, said Musa will bring lots of speed to his strike force. He also said his team, the RAF, due to their pace and style of play. Musa was signed from CSKA Moscow for a fee of £18 million last week, and Ranieri believes the former Kano Pillars man will be an important part of his squad ahead of the upcoming campaign. Stage 13 of the Tour de France continued on Friday despite a terrorist attack on Nice, France. At least 84 persons were killed in the third major terrorist attack in the country within 18 months. There was a minute silence held at the start of Friday's 13th stage. That's a 37.5 kilometers time trial from a town northwest of Nice on the south coast of France. France, which has just finished hosting Euro 2016, has been on high alert since November's Paris attacks, in which 130 people died. Mark Wilmot has been sacked as coach of the Belgian national team after the team's shock quarter-final exit to Wales at the 2016 European Championship. The former striker, who was appointed as manager in 2012, led his team to the 2014 World Cup and 2016 European Championship. He was, however, eliminated at the quarter-final stage in both competitions. Wilmot's contract was set to expire after the 2018 World Cup, but the Belgian Football Association believes the team needs a new impulse ahead of their qualifying campaign. Well, too sad for Wilmot. We'll wait and see where he goes next. That's it in news now. We thank you very much for watching. Continue to stay tuned to TV360. We have more coming your way.